Am I the asshole for accepting money from my parents for my wedding, then eloping? My parents gave each of my brothers $50,000 when they graduated from university as a down payment on their home. When I graduated, they did not do the same for me. I asked about it, and they said my husband should provide. I wasn't married. I still lived at home. 3 years later, I met my husband. We dated for a year, and then we got engaged. My parents were overjoyed. When we set a date, they gave me a check for $50,000 to pay for the wedding. I took the check and we eloped. We then used the check for a down payment on a house. My husband had a similar amount saved up, so we are in a good spot with equity. My parents were furious that they didn't get a big wedding for all their friends and family to attend. They said that they gave me the money for a wedding. My argument is that I got married and had leftover money. Accurate in my books? My brothers are on their side, so I am here to ask if I'm in the wrong. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Your family is being horrible and is using a bullshit double standard. They didn't expect your brothers to use that money for a big wedding, but you have to. They wouldn't have helped you get a home unless it was through marriage, but your brothers didn't have that condition and just got the money. And they expected you to have a huge wedding so that they could have fun. Saving up the money is the responsible thing to do, and they're being bad parents if they'd rather you spent it all in a huge wedding you don't even want. Edit, just a question, to be clear. There was a wedding and they were invited, right? They're angry because it wasn't big enough. There was a wedding. If they wanted to pay for a fancy wedding, then they should have planned for and paid for the fancy wedding directly themselves. They gave you the money directly for a wedding. If you had $49,950 after paying $50 to the Justice of the Peace, well, I guess you planned better than they did. Not the asshole. If, for example, this concerned money set aside for education, I'd judge you in the wrong. But $50K for a wedding when your brothers got that same amount for a home is outrageous. Seriously, what the heck were they thinking? Hi, daughter dear. Rather than giving you $50K to set you up quite comfortably housing-wise, we want you to burn through it for a single day called wedding. You see, you have melons up top rather than ping pong balls and a sausage down below. So what on earth makes you think you need financial security? Us having fun at that party and being able to brag about it for decades is way more important. Misogyny aside. I also loathe the fact that they wouldn't have given it to you if you'd preferred to remain single. It's basically bullying you into marriage. Not the asshole. And if it costs you your relationship with your parents, that might be better in the long run in any case. I would invite them to an impromptu wedding ceremony in the backyard of your new house and thank them for funding this special day. That's more or less what we did at a friend's house. Am I the asshole for not paying my sister's tuition anymore? I, 24, have siblings, 4F, 13F, and 19F, and they have lived with me for 5 years. And our mother is not mentally there. I didn't even know of my youngest sister's existence until she was 2, and a family member expressed concern for her. That is just to give you an idea of how unstable my mom is. My 19-year-old sister, let's call her Emmy, went to college in the fall. Financial aid had covered a really heavy fee, and it was left to me to cover about $6,000 after it, which didn't seem too bad considering how much uni is without it, and I also agreed to give her $50 a month to sustain herself. I agreed to pay that money for my sister, because at the time, I really didn't want her taking out any loans. I didn't get the opportunity to go to college. I have been working since I was pretty young, and I had my siblings, so there was no way I could juggle a job that would sustain us in college. Now, my sister called me a few days ago and asked for $100 to go out with her friend. I said I don't have it. She got upset and said that the money I gave her was only enough for her sanitary supplies, and she could barely eat out. She has a meal plan and a dorm. I told her for the 5th time to get a job. Guess what she told me after that? She told me I wanted to ruin her college experience because I am uneducated and didn't get the chance to go to college. So I am placing my anger on her because I am jealous of her. We even argued for a hot minute. She even asked me what I was spending my money on, and I asked her if she knew how much she knew it was to maintain our youngest sister. She said she was in school half the day. My younger sister is in daycare. Public school is free. Daycare is not. I need to work. And in order for me to work, I have to pay an outrageous amount to leave her in a daycare. Now, Emmy is somehow unaware of this and is acting like taking care of 3 of them is a financially easy task. Mind you, this is not the first time she's being selfish. I asked her to apply to be an RA so she could get free housing, but she didn't even attempt to apply. If she got rejected, I wouldn't be upset, but she did not even turn in an application. After arguing with her that what she said was selfish, I gave in and agreed with her. I told her I was so jealous that I was not going to pay for tuition ever again. And when she comes home, she can get a summer job to maintain herself or take out a loan. I don't know why I'm working myself thin and exhausting myself for someone who doesn't even appreciate it. I told her I wasn't joking and was dead serious and hung up. She sent me some apologies after. Am I being an asshole and cutting her off? She will still always have a place in my home. I'm not leaving her homeless. Or is she just a teenager and I'm being childish? P.S. I understand that me taking in my sibling was my choice, but it wouldn't hurt to receive some thanks for the amount of work I do for them. Not the asshole. You made the decision to take in your siblings, and you are providing for them. That doesn't mean you have to provide your adult sister with luxuries. $50 a month is very little. It's also free money she's getting in return for literally nothing. Nobody owes her fun money. You don't even owe her tuition. She should also be actively seeking out resources on campus. Lots of health services. Places can hook you up with free hygiene products. There are tons of free events on campus and clubs where she can hang out without spending a dime. That's the college experience. It's weird that someone raised by an unstable parent is still this immature and unfamiliar with how life works. If her friends like hanging out with her, honestly, they should just pay her way on the nights they want to go out, or they should find free stuff they can all do together. Part of growing up is making that kind of thing work within everybody's means. This is what I genuinely don't understand. She doesn't comprehend how much I struggle financially, yet she the second born. The only reason she was able to get the fin aid she got was because we are dirt poor. We are talking and she asking beside her tuition, what do I really need to spend money on? And I'm thinking, what type of stupid question is this? How does one grow up poor, but can still act privileged and spoiled at times? Because you have very different experiences of poverty. You had to become a parent, sacrifice your own education and future, and take care of not just yourself, but your siblings. She has had you to rely on. You're the parent who makes sure she doesn't have to carry all the burdens of poverty. She's not stepping up to help herself, let alone her siblings. She's having a regular experience. That's incredibly fortunate for her. But it also sounds like she needs this very minor reality check that you're giving her to, at the very least, learn to be grateful. Life isn't fair. We don't all get the same. She's incredibly lucky she has a sibling that's been willing to do so much for her, and she's more than old enough to realize that. Not the asshole. I'm surprised you took them in. Some can and some can't, because the financial burden is a lot. That said, kudos for doing so. It is time Emmy stands up on her own. You did a great job helping her get a start. Now she has to take it and run with it. Let her pay her way. That is not your obligation when you have two others to support and help them get a jump on life as well. I think she'll appreciate her college experience more and all you have done when she has to work for it. Is it really that surprising that I took them in? I mean, there is a financial burden, but when the alternative is the foster system, and we know how the U.S. foster system can be, it is a pretty easy choice. I always hear people say, I took them in pretty young, but I feel like anyone one with sibling would do the same if they could. Plus, I had a YMCA that helped me a lot. If you can support your siblings without a degree, your sister can support herself, especially when she has a place to live. Have a calmer conversation with her. Say you think it's time to reevaluate how you are handling things, given it seems your sisters are with you permanently. You can't put 3 people through college. All 3 will have to work their way through college. You will help them with a place to live and financial guidance. Tell her, you know it's a big change in her expectations. You understand she is upset? Tell her that the only way all 4 of you will be okay is if you pull together and work as a team. You already stepped up. You are not her parent. It's time your sister pulls her own weight. Not the asshole. Well, that's another episode of Am I the Asshole in the books. I really appreciate all of you who made it this far into the video. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, it would really help the channel out a lot if you gave the video a thumbs up, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.